So looking back on how high-profile Democrats, powerful Democrats ran this campaign, what could they have done, if anything, with the candidates they were working with to match that level of theater that Donald Trump has now brought into American politics?
Resign. Resign the position that they have given themselves, by the way. These are self-appointed protectors of the
Marianna, hold up, Marianna. See, that's that gangster stuff that I like right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be gangster looking. You know what I'm saying? Like this right there, that right there is what I need. All right, so let me tell you just a quick story, which kind of goes into what we're going to be talking about. At my last job, I was a manager at a hospital, and it was during that time of year where, you have, kind of like surveys for your employees to kind of, anonymously kind of put in like, what you like about the job, what you like about the position, and some things that you don't like about your higher ups, which is me. And then I also got one of those for my higher up, which was my manager. So during this time, which was, a few months ago, just really upset, not liking the direction my company is going, not liking how they're just kind of pushing me in the corner and not really allowing me to do what I do best. And that's a problem solver. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get into that position, I get into it, but that's not the case. But when I had the opportunity to express myself, trust me, as you may know me, I'm going to do that. And I put my name on there so they know it was me. It was going to be no confusion on my position regarding my higher ups. And one of the final questions on there was, if you were in your, manager's position, what would you do differently to, X, Y, and Z or something like that? And I put one solid word in all caps. I promise you I did. I wish I would have taken a picture. I put resign. That's simple. And I wanted them to understand, like, you can't fix what you're doing. It's the person that's in that position that's screwing everything up. Like, no amount of conversations, no amount of meetings is going to fix the issue. It's literally the person. And that's literally what Marianna Willamson said in this interview. And that's one thing that I kind of do like about her. Like, we could talk about her, like her experience. Can she really handle the job? Like, that's a good conversation, which if you voted for Trump, that shouldn't even be like a problem for you. But whatever. In this interview, she expressed that perfectly. She, the interviewer pretty much asked her like, hey, what blah, 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 blah. And she was like, hey, these ones right here, get them out. Get them on out. And I kind of do understand that. So let's go ahead before I just kind of tell you the whole thing. Let's listen to it.
The other point you made that I wanted to zoom back in on was this point about theater. I think this is something you understand that other people in the party don't, that when Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, he ushered in, as you said, a new era in American politics. And I thought Kamala Harris was at her best in this campaign when she was sitting down with someone who you know well, that would be Oprah. And then there was the Madison Square Garden rally, which the response to it was almost, it reminded me kind of the Access Hollywood tape response. And as egregious as some of these things might be, voters see Donald Trump differently than a lot of people in the Democratic elite and the media. So looking back on how high-profile Democrats, powerful Democrats ran this campaign, what could they have done, if anything, with the candidates they were working with to match that level of theater that Donald Trump has now brought into American politics?
Resign. Resign the position that they have given themselves, by the way. These are self-appointed protectors of the
Marianna, hold up, Marianna. See, that's that gangster stuff that I like right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be gangster looking. You know what I'm saying? Like this right there, that right there is what I need. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's just going to be honest with you. They're not going to do this whole like, dance and show and try to, sound all perfect. Hey, I need these individuals right here. These ones right here who's been screwing up this party since before I was born. I need them out. Good old, give him the boot out the door. As Donald Trump would say, you're fired. Okay, you're fired. Like why can't people say that? Why can't people in the Democratic Party, especially the progressives, just say we need the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, anyone else that seems to just not understand and want to get with the program, get out the party. I don't care what they need to do. Shame them out of the party. Do something. But you're going to continue losing if you don't. I do understand sometimes you need to kind of reform some things. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just because you got a couple miles on your car, that doesn't mean you just junk it. You know what I'm saying? Just fix it up. Give it a little TLC. I understand that. But at some point, which is going to be really clear in the next 2 years, did the Democratic Party learn anything? And I'm starting to kind of understand that they haven't. And if they haven't, something needs to be done, like from the inside out. The problem solver or the problem issue people need to be rooted out the party. Quick, fast, and easy, or the Republican Party are going to dominate every single 2 years. Guarantee. That simple. So let's go ahead, Marianne.
Democratic project. Let in new people, because the process is as important as the goal. Ultimately, the end is inherent in the means. I believe, for instance, that the counterforce to the kind of strongman politics that Donald Trump represents is deep, authentic righteousness and virtue. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to have a politics based on righteousness and virtue, as Lincoln would say, the right as we see fit. None of us are perfect, but if we are making an honest effort at what would honestly, if we are to adhere to the principles of the Declaration of Independence, that God gave us inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what public policy decision would promote life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to the widest array of people? You can either have that, or you can be thinking about what will make your donors happy. So the crowd that...
Hey, say what you want about Marianne Williamson, but you have to put some respect on her name, because she ain't saying nothing but a word. She ain't saying nothing that nobody doesn't already know. It's like, hey, either when you're in that position of power, either you're going to serve the American people or you're going to serve the big money. Those who's putting a couple thousands of dollars in your pocket. Which one you going to do? Look at Fetterman. You know what I'm saying? The bald guy who just always wearing a hoodie. Whatever he ran being a progressive, and now look at him. As liberal as can be. Probably a little bit more, right, but really? Who got to you? How much money are they paying you? That's my question. So if we even hint people like that coming into the party as progressive and we get them into office and all of a sudden they're doing a 180, like Kirsten Sinema, thank God she out. We need to get them out the party. And I hate to give Republicans props on anything because they're just a disgusting group of people. One thing they kind of do well is if you're not along with the program, you are not a part of the program. We are going to shun you. What do they call them? Rhinos or whatever? Like, they will shun you out of the party. Simple. So, like, the Democratic Party, the real ones in that party, not the suit and ties, but the real ones need to get a real spine real quick. And do, what is it, a hostile takeover type situation? I don't know. Okay, I'm on the outside looking in. I need them to do something, or you guys are going to continuously lose everything.
Thinks that their job is to kind of broker doing the right thing with making sure that big insurance companies are happy, and big pharmaceutical companies are happy, and big food is happy, and big chemical companies are happy, and big agriculture is happy, and gun manufacturers. I can't pin the gun manufacturer thing on the Democrats, however, but everybody else I can, including big oil, knows, and the military-industrial complex. The corruption is so deep in both parties. So that crowd, what could they have done? They are so tied to believing that the money is everything. Sometimes I felt, Emily, during this campaign, over the last 3 months, there were moments when I felt, my God, he's running a presidential campaign. She's running a fundraising campaign.
Ooh,
We raised this money. We raised that money. Hillary had
damn.
more money than Trump. Money alone won't do it. An authentic emotional connection with the American people is what does it. And the American people.
And it's, hey, first off, amen. Amen. God bless. She ain't speaking nothing but truth right there. It is simple. You don't have to be like some sort of like, mind reader to understand what the American people want. A couple of videos ago, and I need to keep these stats in front of me, but majority of Americans want minimum wage to be increased. That's a need, not a maybe later down the road type thing. Like now, more so Americans want health care for all, for it to be free or damn near free. Education, same thing. Like these are things that Americans want right now. And if you can just simply run off of that, you're going to win. Like I'm not a betting person, but like who would turn that down? Like what regular person? Of course, the rich folks and the people, the CEOs, they don't want that. But guess what? There's more of us than it is them. That's simple. So she's right. Like, don't be trying to tiptoe like, oh no, I need to, cater to these people, but also I can't forget my big donors. That's how you lose. How Trump won, he ran off of what the people wanted, or at least his constituents. And is it laced with hate and bigotry and racism and this phobia and that? Of course. But he ran off of that. And that's what they wanted. Harris did almost the exact opposite. The whole war in Gaza. She didn't even mention any empathy or sympathy for the Palestinian people to in a sense to where people truly believe that if she got into office, she would do something meaningful over there. No, she just kind of like, oh, innocent people shouldn't die, but we gotta back up our allies. Bro, we don't want the same thing. We don't want the status quo. Give us something new. But that wasn't her position. So
people didn't appreciate the paternalism of a system that seemed to be saying, we know what's best for you. Anybody with a modicum of historical understanding knows that when there is a large group of desperate people in fear, people in confusion, the emergence of a strongman is almost inevitable. Mm-hmm. And so the lack of psychological perspicacity, the lack of emotional astuteness that is involved in the pseudo-sophisticate crowd that currently runs the Democratic Party is very unfortunate. They got what they deserved. It's a crash and burn for the Democratic establishment. But we didn't get what we deserved. And the Democratic Party now needs to have the political equivalent of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, where there's a deep and humble inquiry into what has happened, that the Democratic Party has lost its emotional and psychological connection to such a wide swath of the American electorate. Right now, it doesn't look like that's where they're going. Right now, it looks like the post-game analysis is being run by people who think just blame everybody else. Blame the Latinos, blame black men, blame white women, blame whomever.
Which, you can't blame a lot on white women. If you look at the stats, it's almost like night and day. Like it's weird. Like majority, 87% of black folks voted for the Democratic Party, and like 57 or 59% of white people voted for the Republican Party. And it's almost down the middle when it comes to Hispanics. Like it was a weird, it wasn't really nothing to like really scratch your head about. It was like, oh, Well, I mean, that's the stats say for themselves. So, if you want to blame somebody, you could blame a lot of the white folks that voted for Trump for whatever reason.
For a system, for an organization, for a political party, just like for an individual, you're going to have to sit down and look in your own heart and your own conscience and into your own mirror and just say, what was my part in this? If the Democratic Party does that, there will be a regreening, there will be a rebirth, that's where the phoenix will rise from. And if it doesn't, anybody interested in a more left-wing populism will simply have to forge another path. But
so, I mean, she brings up a good point, but, hey, to be honest, because that's what I'm here to do, when she started about the rise of the phoenix and the crystals and it gets a little weird. Like, it's not bad. Trust me, because Trump, sexually assaulting a microphone is weird enough, okay? But, just, that's another conversation. But she, hinted at one thing, like, what Trump and the Republican Party did very well was to understand, or not even understand, but just to hear people's frustration. They heard it. Really simple. But instead of coming up with solutions and, policies, I know a lot of Republicans don't like that P word, policies, they just gave them someone to blame. Hey, the immigrants right over there. Hey, that's the source of all your problems. Hey, the black folks, yeah, or the urban community or the inner cities people is the reason why X, Y, and Z. Like, or Ukraine. Hey, people probably couldn't even find that on the map, but guess what? All the money's going over there. That's why you're poor. Like, it's just weird to me, but they want to keep sending millions of billions of dollars to Israel. And they have some policies that we want over here. So it's just so crazy, but they gave them somebody to blame. And unfortunately, some people are just stuck on stupid. That's all they need. Oh, blame them? All right, it's the trans people's fault. There you go. Problem solved. I'm voting for you because you told me what the problem was, and you're giving me a bad guy. So there you go. So once again, I think Marianna Williamson did an amazing job at not doing too much, not just this whole weird just explanation of this and this and this and trying to make something so simple sound like calculus. She said, hey, these individuals right here and more, trust me, if I had a bigger collage thing, I'd fit a whole bunch of people in here. They need to resign. Sometimes it might be to a point to where the party is just so sunken, welded in with each other. You just have to throw the whole thing away. And like I said, kind of seeing how the next 2 years go, if it seems like it's more so of the same, then unfortunately the whole party has to go. Is that a third party? I don't know. Can you really root out individuals like this and just implant people that's actually for the people? Maybe. I don't know, but let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree with anything that I said, or hit that Discord link so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.